It happened on a Tuesday afternoon when everything changed forever. I got the phone call while I was buying groceries at the store. My hands were full of apples when my phone started ringing loudly. The name on the screen made my heart jump. It was Memorial City Hospital. I dropped everything and answered quickly. A woman's voice said my husband Marcus had been hurt badly at his office building. She said he fell down the stairs and hit his head. She said the doctors needed to do emergency brain surgery right away. My whole world started spinning. I could not breathe. I could not think. The apples I dropped were rolling everywhere on the floor, but I did not care. I just ran out of that store as fast as my legs could move. My car was in the parking lot. I could barely get my keys into the door because my hands were shaking so badly. When I finally got inside, I started the engine and drove away without even putting on my seatbelt. I knew I should be more careful, but all I could think about was Marcus. My sweet husband who always made me laugh. My best friend who held my hand during scary movies. How could he be hurt? How could this be real? The drive to the hospital felt like it took forever. Every red light made me want to scream. Every slow car in front of me made me so angry. I kept calling Marcus's phone, but nobody answered. I called again and again, but it just kept ringing and ringing. Finally, I saw the big white hospital building ahead. I turned into the parking lot so fast that my tires made a loud screeching sound. I did not even park properly. I just stopped the car and jumped out, running toward the front doors. Inside the hospital, everything smelled like cleaning products and medicine. The bright white lights hurt my eyes. I ran up to the front desk where a lady in pink scrubs was sitting. I could barely talk because I was breathing so hard from running. I told her my husband's name was Marcus and that he was having brain surgery. She looked at her computer screen for what felt like a very long time. Then she pointed to the elevator and said to go to the 3rd floor. The surgical wing was up there. I pressed the elevator button over and over, but it was taking too long. So I ran to the stairs instead. I climbed 3 floors without stopping even once. My legs were burning and my chest hurt, but I kept going. When I finally reached the 3rd floor, I pushed open the heavy door and stepped into a long hallway. It was very quiet up there. Too quiet. The only sounds were my footsteps and the beeping of machines from behind closed doors. I saw signs on the walls pointing to different rooms. Operating room 1. Operating room 2. Operating room 3. I started running down the hallway, looking at every door, trying to find where Marcus was. My heart was beating so loud in my ears. I felt dizzy and sick to my stomach. What if I was too late? What if something terrible had already happened? What if I never got to say goodbye? Then I saw it at the end of the hallway. A big metal door with a red light above it. The sign said Operating Room 4. That had to be where Marcus was. I ran faster, my shoes squeaking on the shiny floor. Just as I was about to push open that door, someone grabbed my arm from behind. I turned around quickly, ready to yell at whoever was stopping me. It was a young nurse with kind eyes and braided hair pulled back in a ponytail. "Wait," she whispered urgently, looking around nervously. "Please, ma'am, do not go in there." I tried to pull my arm away. "My husband is in there. I need to see him." The nurse's grip got tighter. Her eyes looked scared. Really scared. "I know, but you need to trust me right now. Something is very wrong. This is not what you think it is." I stopped struggling and looked at her face. She was not joking. She was not playing around. She looked more serious than anyone I had ever seen. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaking. "What is happening?" The nurse pulled me away from the operating room door. She looked over her shoulder like she was worried someone might see us talking. "I cannot explain everything right now, but I need you to hide. Quick. Right now." "Hide? Why would I hide? My husband needs me." "Please, ma'am," the nurse begged, her voice breaking. "I am trying to help you. This whole thing is a trap. Your husband is not really hurt. Someone is lying to you." My brain could not understand what she was saying. Marcus was not hurt. But the hospital called me. They said brain surgery. They said emergency. How could that all be fake? The nurse must have seen the confusion on my face. She grabbed both of my shoulders and looked straight into my eyes. I know this sounds crazy, but I work here. I see the truth. There is something very bad happening in that room. And if they know you are here, you will be in danger too. I wanted to argue. I wanted to push past her and burst through those doors. But something in her voice made me stop. Something told me she was telling the truth. Where should I go? I whispered. The nurse looked around quickly. She pointed to a small door across the hallway. It had a sign that said supply closet. In there. Lock the door. Do not make any noise. Do not come out until I come back for you. No matter what you hear. But Marcus. Trust me, she said firmly. If you want to help your husband, you need to stay hidden and stay safe. I will come back and explain everything. I promise. I did not have time to think about it more. The nurse was already pushing me toward the supply closet. I opened the door and stepped inside. It was dark and smelled like soap and bandages. There were shelves full of medical supplies all around me. The nurse whispered one more time before closing the door. Lock it. Stay quiet. I will be back soon. Then the door closed and I was alone in the darkness. I felt around until I found the lock and turned it. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. I pressed my ear against the door, trying to hear what was happening outside. For a few minutes there was nothing. Just silence. Then I heard footsteps. Lots of footsteps. People were walking past my door, talking in low voices. I held my breath. I did not want anyone to know I was hiding in there. The footsteps got quieter and then disappeared completely. I was alone again. I stood there in that dark closet, my mind racing with questions. What did the nurse mean when she said Marcus was not really hurt? Who would lie about something like that? And why would anyone set a trap for me? Time moved very slowly. I checked my phone to see how long I had been hiding. 5 minutes, then 7 minutes, then 10 minutes. Each minute felt like an hour. Finally, after what felt like forever, I heard a soft knock on the door. 3 quick taps. Then the nurse's voice whispered through the wood. It is me. You can open the door now. I unlocked the door carefully and opened it just a tiny bit. The nurse was standing there alone. She quickly slipped inside the closet with me and closed the door again. What is going on? I asked immediately. Where is Marcus? Is he okay? The nurse took a deep breath. I am going to show you something, but you need to stay very calm. Can you do that? I nodded, even though I was not sure if I could really stay calm. My whole body was shaking. The nurse opened the closet door just a crack. Just enough for us to see out into the hallway. She pointed toward the operating room where I had been trying to go earlier. Watch, she whispered. The surgery is over. They are coming out now. I pressed my face close to the opening and looked out. The metal doors of the operating room were opening slowly. My heart started beating faster. I was finally going to see Marcus. I was finally going to know if he was okay. But what I saw made my blood turn cold. What I saw made no sense at all. What I saw changed everything I thought I knew about my life. Marcus walked out of that operating room. Not on a hospital bed. Not being pushed by doctors. Not wrapped in bandages. He walked out on his own 2 feet, laughing and smiling like nothing was wrong. He was wearing regular clothes, not a hospital gown. He looked perfectly healthy. His head was not hurt. There was no blood. No bandages. Nothing. He looked exactly like he did when he left for work that morning. And he was not alone. Walking next to him, holding his hand, was a woman I had never seen before. She was tall with long red hair and she was wearing a fancy dress. She was laughing at something Marcus said. Then a man in a white doctor coat came out behind them. He shook Marcus's hand like they were old friends. Like this was all just a normal day. Like there had never been any emergency at all. Could not move. Could not breathe. I could not understand what I was seeing. My husband was supposed to be dying. He was supposed to be having brain surgery. But instead, he was walking around perfectly fine with some strange woman. The nurse next to me whispered very quietly. Do you see now? This whole thing was fake. Phone call. The emergency. All of it was a lie. Tears started rolling down my face. But why? Why would he do this? Keep watching, the nurse said sadly. You need to see everything. Marcus and the woman with red hair were walking down the hallway now, getting closer to where we were hiding. I could start to hear what they were saying. Marcus's voice sounded happy and excited. I cannot believe we actually pulled it off. Dr. Harrison was amazing. He made everything look so real. The woman laughed and squeezed his hand. I told you it would work, baby. Your wife is so trusting. She believed everything. My stomach felt sick. Baby. He called her baby. That word was supposed to be just for me. That was what Marcus called me every morning when we woke up. The doctor they called Dr. Harrison was walking with him. He was smiling too. The hospital paperwork is all set up. According to our records, you had a terrible accident and emergency surgery. Very tragic. Very serious. Perfect, Marcus said. That is exactly what we need for the insurance claim. Insurance claim. What insurance claim? My head was spinning with confusion. None of this made any sense. The woman with red hair spoke again. So when is the second part of the plan happening? When do we get rid of her? I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. Get rid of her. She was talking about me. They were planning to get rid of me. Marcus stopped walking and turned to look at Dr. Harrison. That is the real reason we are here today. We needed to get her to come to the hospital. We needed to get her alone in a place we could control. Dr. Harrison nodded. Everything is ready. Once she arrives, we will tell her that you are recovering but that she needs some medical tests too. Just to make sure she is okay after all this stress. Standard procedure. And then? The woman with red hair asked. And then, Dr. Harrison said with a cold smile, we will give her something in her forehead that will make her very, very sleepy. She will never wake up. It will look like her heart just stopped from all the stress and worry. Very sad. But these things happen. Marcus nodded like this was all perfectly normal. Like they were talking about the weather instead of murdering someone. Murdering me. His wife. The life insurance policy we just took out last month is for $2 million, Marcus said. Once she is gone, that money is all ours. We can finally run away together and start our new life. The woman hugged him tightly. I cannot wait, Marcus. Just you and me. No more sneaking around. No more pretending. My heart was breaking into a million pieces. The man I loved. The man I trusted. The man I thought would protect me forever. He was planning to kill me for money. And he was doing it with another woman. A woman he loved instead of me. The nurse put her hand on my shoulder. I realized I was crying so hard my whole body was shaking. She pulled me back from the door and closed it quietly so they would not hear us. I am so sorry, she whispered. I know this is horrible. But now you know the truth. Now you can protect yourself. I wiped my tears away with my hands. The sadness I felt was starting to change into something else. Something hot and angry. Something that made me want to fight back. How did you know? I asked the nurse. How did you find out about their plan? The nurse looked down at her feet. My name is Kennedy. I have been working at this hospital for 2 years. Dr. Harrison is my boss, but he is not a good man. He has done bad things before. What kind of bad things? Kennedy took a deep breath. 6 months ago, another patient died during a simple surgery. Her name was Mrs. Chen. She was very rich and had a big insurance policy. Her husband was very sad after she died. But then I found out something strange. What did you find out? I found out that Dr. Harrison got a lot of money right after Mrs. Chen died. A lot of money that came from her husband. I think they worked together to kill her. Just like your husband is trying to kill you now. Felt cold all over. Did you tell anyone? Did you go to the police? Kennedy shook her head sadly. I tried. I told the hospital bosses what I thought. But Dr. Harrison is very powerful here. He has a lot of important friends. Nobody believed me. They said I was just a young nurse making up stories. They almost fired me. So why are you helping me now? Kennedy looked up at me with determination in her eyes. Because I could not save Mrs. Chen. But maybe I can save you. When I saw your husband's fake surgery on the schedule today, I knew something was wrong. So I watched and I listened. And I heard them talking about their plan. I grabbed Kennedy's hands. Thank you. Thank you for warning me. If you had not stopped me from going in there, I would have walked right into their trap. We are not safe yet, Kennedy warned. They are looking for you. They expect you to be here by now. We need to figure out what to do next. Thought hard. My brain was working fast now, putting pieces together. The insurance policy Marcus mentioned. I remember when he asked me to sign those papers last month. He said it was just in case something happened to one of us. He said it was smart to be prepared. He was preparing all right, Kennedy said bitterly. Preparing to kill you and take the money. A new thought came to me. Scary thought. Kennedy, if Dr. Harrison has done this before and gotten away with it, how do we stop him now? How do we stop them? Nobody believed you last time. Kennedy bit her lip, thinking. We need proof. Real proof. Not just our words. We need something that shows their plan. Something the police cannot ignore. Like what? Like a recording of them talking about it. Or documents that show the fake surgery. Or messages between them planning everything. I remembered something. Marcus's phone. He keeps everything on his phone. He writes down all his plans and ideas there. If we could get his phone, maybe we could find proof. Kennedy shook her head. That is too dangerous. We cannot just walk up to him and take his phone. He would know something was wrong. She was right. We needed a better plan. We needed to be smart about this. We needed to beat them at their own game. Wait, I said suddenly. They are expecting me to show up, right? They think I am going to come running in, all worried and scared. They think I am going to believe their lies and do whatever they say. Yes, Kennedy said. That is exactly what they think. So what if I do show up? What if I pretend I do not know anything? What if I act like the worried wife they expect me to be? Kennedy's eyes went wide. That is very dangerous. If they give you that medicine like they planned, then you will have to make sure that does not happen, I interrupted. You work here. You know how things work. There must be a way to switch out the medicine. To make sure whatever they give me is safe. Kennedy thought about it. Maybe I could do that. But you would have to be very brave. You would have to act perfectly. If they suspect anything, if they think you know what is going on, they might do something else. Something worse. He nodded. I can do it. Can act. I can make them think they are winning. And while I do that, you can get proof. You can take pictures. You can record them. You can find evidence that shows what they are really doing. Kennedy looked at me with respect. You are stronger than they think you are. They are about to find out just how strong I am, I said, my voice hard and cold. We spent the next few minutes making our plan. Kennedy would give me a fake for. It would look real, but it would just have water and vitamins in it. Nothing that could hurt me. Then she would stay close and record everything on her phone. She would film Dr. Harrison and Marcus talking. She would get proof of their evil plan. My job was to act, cry, to be scared, to trust them, to be the victim they thought I was. But inside I would be watching and listening and remembering everything. Are you ready? Kennedy asked, her hand on the doorknob. I took a deep breath. Yes, let's do this. Kennedy opened the closet door and we stepped out into the hallway. It was time to put our plan into action. It was time to catch them in their own trap. Kennedy called out loudly, like she was surprised to see me. Oh, Mrs. Martinez, there you are. We have been looking everywhere for you. I started crying on purpose, making myself sob loudly. Where is my husband? Where is Marcus? Is he okay? Kennedy put her arm around me like she was comforting me. But she whispered very quietly in my ear. Good. Keep acting just like that. She led me down the hallway toward a different room. Not the operating room but a recovery room. The door was open and I could see Marcus lying in a hospital bed inside. He had somehow changed into a hospital gown now. He looked very pale and weak. When he saw me, his face changed. He smiled a little bit, but it was a tired smile. Fake smile. "Babe," he said, his voice sounding weak. "You came." I ran to his bedside and grabbed his hand. "Oh, Marcus. I was so scared. They said you fell and hurt your head. They said you needed surgery." Marcus squeezed my hand gently. "It was bad. Really bad. But Dr. Harrison saved my life." Right on time, Dr. Harrison walked into the room. He was not smiling anymore. He looked very serious and professional. "Mrs. Martinez, I am so glad you are here. Your husband has been asking for you. Is he going to be okay?" I asked, making my voice shake with fear. Dr. Harrison nodded slowly. "The surgery went well. We were able to stop the bleeding in his brain. But he will need to stay here for a few days so we can watch him closely." I cried more tears. Real tears this time, but not because I was sad. 'Cause I was angry. Angry that they were lying to my face. Angry that they thought I was too stupid to see through them. "Thank you, doctor," I said. "Thank you for saving him." Dr. Harrison put his hand on my shoulder. It made my skin crawl, but I did not pull away. "Now, Mrs. Martinez, I do need to check on you as well. You have been through a very stressful experience today. A lot of worry. A lot of fear. Sometimes that kind of stress can affect your health too." Here it comes, I thought. This is the trap. "I want you to lie down in the bed next to your husband," Dr. Harrison continued. "I am going to run some tests. Check your heart. Check your blood pressure. Just to make sure everything is okay." "Is that really necessary?" I asked, trying to sound confused but not suspicious. "I feel fine." "I insist," Dr. Harrison said firmly. "It is important. We want to make sure you stay healthy so you can take care of Marcus when he comes home." Marcus nodded from his bed. "Please, babe. Do what the doctor says. I need you to be okay." I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to tell him I knew everything. I wanted to see the look on his face when he realized his plan had failed. But not yet. Not yet. "Okay," I said quietly. "If you think it is important." Kennedy brought another hospital bed into the room and helped me lie down. She was very gentle and kind, but I could see in her eyes that she was scared too. Dr. Harrison came over with his equipment. He wrapped a blood pressure cuff around my arm. He put a cold stethoscope on my chest to listen to my heart. He shined a light in my eyes. All normal doctor stuff. Then he said the words I was waiting for. "Everything looks good so far. But I want to give you N4 with some vitamins and medicine. It will help your body recover from the stress. It will help you relax." This was it. This was the moment they were going to try to kill me. The moment they thought they would win. "N4. I said, trying to sound nervous. "I do not like needles very much." "It will only hurt for a second," Dr. Harrison said with a fake smile. "Kennedy, please prepare the 4. Kennedy nodded and left the room. She came back a minute later with a bag of clear liquid and a needle. Her hands were shaking a little bit as she hung the bag on a pole next to my bed. She looked at me for just a second. Just long enough for me to see the message in her eyes. "Trust me. It is safe." She switched it. Kennedy carefully put the needle in my arm. It did hurt, but I did not cry out. I just closed my eyes and pretended to be brave. "There," Dr. Harrison said. "The medicine will make you feel sleepy. That is normal. Just close your eyes and rest. Everything is going to be fine." Marcus was watching from his bed. The woman with red hair was standing in the corner of the room now. She was pretending to be a nurse, but I knew who she really was. I knew she was the woman who wanted to steal my husband and my life. I closed my eyes like Dr. Harrison told me to. I could feel the liquid from the 4 going into my arm. But instead of feeling sleepy or sick, I felt fine. Kennedy had switched it just like she promised. I was safe. But I had to act like I was not safe. I had to act like the poison was working. I let my body go limp. I let my head roll to the side. I breathed slower and slower. I heard Dr. Harrison come close to check my pulse. "Good," he whispered. It is working. I heard Marcus get out of his bed. He did not sound weak anymore. He sounded excited. Is she going out? Is it happening? Give it a few more minutes, Dr. Harrison said. We need to make sure. The woman with red hair came closer too. Finally. I have been waiting so long for this. They stood around my bed, watching me, waiting for me to die. But I was not dying. I was listening. I was memorizing every word they said. And Kennedy was in the corner with her phone, recording everything. After a few minutes, Dr. Harrison spoke again. Her pulse is getting weaker. Any moment now, her heart will stop. It will look like cardiac arrest brought on by stress. Very sad, but very believable. And then we are free, Marcus said. His voice was so cold, so empty. How had I never heard that coldness before? Free and rich, the woman with red hair added. $2 million, baby. We can go anywhere we want. I am thinking Paris, Marcus said. Or maybe Tokyo. Somewhere far away where nobody knows us. Dr. Harrison chuckled. Just do not forget our agreement. I get my share for making this all happen. Don't worry, Marcus said. You will get your money. You always do. I wanted to jump up right then and scream at them. But I forced myself to stay still. Stay quiet. Let them think they had won. Because the more they talked, the more evidence Kennedy was getting. How long until it is over? The woman with red hair asked impatiently. Soon, Dr. Harrison said. Very soon. And then we will call it time of death. I will fill out the death certificate. You will play the grieving husband. Everything will look normal. I am good at playing parts, Marcus said with a laugh. I have been playing the loving husband for 5 years. Those words hurt worse than any poison could. 5 years. Had he been lying to me for our entire marriage? Had he ever really loved me at all? I felt a tear slide down my cheek, but I could not wipe it away. If I moved, they would know I was awake. So I let it fall. Kennedy saw the tear. She came over quickly and pretended to check my four. As she leaned over me, she whispered so quietly that only I could hear. I got it all. Every word. Stay strong. I wanted to smile, but I kept my face still. We had them. We had proof of everything. Now we just needed to figure out how to get out of this room safely. Suddenly, Dr. Harrison said, Wait. Something is wrong. My heart started beating fast. Had he figured it out? Did he know the 4 was fake? What is wrong? Marcus asked, sounding worried. Her vitals. They are not dropping the way they should. She should be nearly gone by now, but her heart rate is still too strong. No. This was bad. They were going to figure out the medicine was not working. Dr. Harrison came very close to me. He lifted my eyelid and shone a bright light in my eye. I tried so hard not to react, not to blink, not to move. Her pupils are not dilated enough, Dr. Harrison said suspiciously. He turned to Kennedy. What did you put in that for? Kennedy's face went pale. I used exactly what you gave me, doctor. The same medicine as always. It is not working fast enough, Dr. Harrison snapped. Go get a stronger dose. Now. Kennedy looked at me helplessly. She did not know what to do. If she left to get more medicine, I would be alone with them. But if she refused, Dr. Harrison would know something was wrong. Before Kennedy could move, the woman with red hair said something that changed everything. Or maybe she could use a pillow. That would be faster. My blood went cold. Pillow. They were going to suffocate me. Marcus actually considered it. That could work. We could say she had a bad reaction to the medicine and stopped breathing before we could help her. No, Dr. Harrison said firmly. Too messy. Too many questions. It needs to look natural. Thank God. At least Dr. Harrison was smart enough to know that would be too obvious. But then he said something even worse. Kennedy, forget the medicine. Increase the dose through the 4-line directly. We will push it straight into her bloodstream. That will finish the job. Kennedy's hands started shaking. Doctor, that is not safe procedure. We should. I don't care about safe procedure, Dr. Harrison hissed. Do what I told you. Now. Kennedy looked at me lying on the bed. I could see her trying to figure out what to do. If she did what Dr. Harrison said, they would know the 4 was fake as soon as she opened it. But if she did not do it, they would know something was wrong anyway. I made a choice. A risky choice. But it was our only option. I opened my eyes. Marcus gasped. The woman with red hair screamed. Dr. Harrison stepped back in shock. Hello, Marcus, I said, my voice clear and strong. Did you really think I was that stupid? Marcus's face went white. How? You should be dead. I finished for him. Yes, that was your plan, was not it? Fake an emergency. Get me to the hospital. Kill me with poison. Take my insurance money and run away with your girlfriend. The woman with red hair looked furious. She knows. How does she know? Dr. Harrison was staring at the 4 bag. The medicine. Someone switched the medicine. He turned to Kennedy with rage in his eyes. Ooh. You did this. Kennedy stood up straight and tall. She held up her phone so they could all see it. And I recorded everything. Every word you said. Every part of your evil plan. It is all right here. Marcus tried to grab the phone, but Kennedy was faster. She ran to the door and held the phone out of reach. If you touch me, I will scream. The whole hospital will come running. Dr. Harrison's face was red with anger. You stupid girl. Do you have any idea what you have done? I will destroy your career. I will destroy your life. Maybe, Kennedy said bravely. But at least I saved hers. She pointed at me. I sat up in the hospital bed and pulled the 4 needle out of my arm. It hurt, but I did not care. I looked straight at Marcus. At the man I thought I would spend my whole life with. Why? I asked him. Why did you do this? Did you ever love me at all? Marcus did not answer right away. He just stared at me like he could not believe his plan had failed. Finally he said, It was never about you, Lisa. It was always about the money. But we have money, I said, confused. We have a nice house. Nice cars. Good jobs. Marcus laughed bitterly. You have no idea, do you? I have been losing money for years. Bad investments. Gambling. Ill people. Dangerous people. People who will hurt me if I do not pay them back soon. So you decided to kill me instead. My voice was shaking now. Instead of asking me for help. Instead of telling me the truth. What truth? Marcus sneered. That I am a failure. That I have ruined everything. That I am drowning in debt. He shook his head. No, I needed a way out. And then I met Veronica. He looked at the woman with red hair. She understood me. She gave me an idea. A way to fix everything. Veronica smiled cruelly. It was actually very simple. You had just gotten that big life insurance policy through your work. $2 million. All we had to do was get rid of you and make it look like an accident. Or in this case, a medical emergency. And Dr. Harrison? Asked, looking at the doctor. Why did you help them? Dr. Harrison crossed his arms. For the same reason everyone does anything. Money. They offered me $500,000 to make it happen. I have done it before. It is easier than you think when you have the right access. My stomach turned. Kennedy had been right. He had killed before. And he would have killed me too if Kennedy had not stopped him. So what now? Marcus asked, his voice hard. You have a recording. So what? It is your word against ours. We can say you edited it. We can say you made it all up. Kennedy shook her head. Actually, I sent the recording to the police while you were busy talking. They should be here any minute. Marcus's eyes went wide with panic. You did what? As if on cue, we all heard sirens outside. Loud sirens getting closer and closer. The police were coming. Dr. Harrison ran for the door, but Kennedy blocked his way. You are not going anywhere. Veronica started crying. This was not supposed to happen. Marcus, do something. But there was nothing Marcus could do. Nothing any of them could do. It was over. Within minutes, police officers filled the hospital room. They had their hands on their guns, ready for trouble. Kennedy showed them the recording on her phone. She told them everything she had seen and heard. The officers listened carefully. Then they started putting handcuffs on Marcus, Veronica, and Dr. Harrison. All three of them were arrested right there in that room. Marcus tried to argue. "This is all a misunderstanding. My wife is confused. She has been under a lot of stress." But the police did not believe him. They had heard the recording. They had seen the evidence. They knew the truth. As the officers led him away, Marcus looked back at me one last time. "Lisa, please. We can work this out. We can fix this." I just shook my head. "No, Marcus. We can't. You tried to kill me. You do not love me. You never did. And now you are going to prison for a very long time." They took him away. They took all three of them away. And I was left standing in that hospital room with Kennedy beside me. For a long time, neither of us spoke. We just stood there, trying to process everything that had happened. Finally, Kennedy put her arm around my shoulders. "Are you okay?" she asked gently. I thought about that question. Was I okay? My husband had tried to murder me. My entire marriage had been a lie. Everything I thought I knew about my life was wrong. But I was alive. I was safe. And Marcus was going to face justice for what he tried to do. "Yes," I said slowly. "I think I will be okay. Eventually." Kennedy smiled. "You are very brave. Not many people could have done what you just did." "I could not have done it without you," I told her honestly. "If you had not warned me, if you had not helped me, I would be dead right now." "I am just glad I could help," Kennedy said. "I could not save the other woman, Mrs. Chen. But I saved you. And that makes everything worth it." We walked out of that hospital room together. Down the hallway. Past the nurses and doctors who were all talking about what had just happened. Everyone was staring at us, but I did not care. I held my head high. Outside the sun was setting. The sky was pink and orange and beautiful. I took a deep breath of fresh air. It felt like the first real breath I had taken all day. Police officer came over to talk to me. She said they would need me to come to the station to give a full statement. She said there would be a trial and I would need to testify. She said it would be a long process. But she also said something else. Something important. "Your husband is going to prison for attempted murder. Dr. Harrison will be investigated for all of his past cases. And we are going to make sure this never happens again." He nodded. "Good. That is good." The officer left and I was alone again with Kennedy. The sun was almost down now. Stars were starting to appear in the dark blue sky. "What will you do now?" Kennedy asked me. Thought about it. What would I do? I could not go back to my old life. That life was gone. Marcus was gone. Everything I knew was gone. But maybe that was okay. Maybe I could start over. Maybe I could build a new life. Better life. A life that was true and honest and real. "I don't know," I admitted. "But I have time to figure it out." Kennedy smiled. "You do. And you are going to be okay. I know you are." We stood there for a few more minutes, watching the stars come out. Then Kennedy had to go back inside. She had to finish her shift. She had to write up reports about everything that happened. Before she left, she hugged me tight. "If you ever need anything, if you ever need someone to talk to, call me." "Okay. Okay," I promised. "And Kennedy, thank you. Thank you for saving my life." "You saved yourself," Kennedy said. "I just helped a little bit." Then she was gone, walking back into the hospital. And I was left standing there alone under the stars. I pulled out my phone and called my mom. When she answered, I started crying. Real tears this time. Tears of relief and sadness and anger and hope all mixed together. "Mom," I said. "Something terrible happened today. But I am okay. I'm safe. And I need to come home." My mom did not ask questions. She just said, "I will be there in 20 minutes. Stay where you are." And she was. Exactly 20 minutes later, my mom's car pulled up. She jumped out and ran to me and hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "My baby," she said, crying too. "My baby girl. What happened?" I told her everything. Every detail. Every terrible thing Marcus had done. Every lie he had told. And my mom just held me and let me cry. When I was done talking, she said, "You are so strong. So brave. I am so proud of you." Those words meant everything to me. More than anything else that happened that day. Hearing my mom say she was proud of me made me feel like I could survive this. Like I could move forward. We got in her car and drove away from that hospital. Away from Marcus. Away from the lies and the betrayal and the pain. As we drove through the city, I looked out the window at all the lights. All the people going about their normal lives. They had no idea what I had just been through. They had no idea how close I had come to dying. But I was alive. And I was free. And Marcus was going to pay for what he did. The next few weeks were hard. Very hard. I had to talk to police officers and lawyers. I had to tell my story over and over again. I had to look at pictures and sign papers and answer a million questions. The trial happened 3 months later. I had to sit in a courtroom and testify. I had to look at Marcus sitting at the defendant's table in his orange prison jumpsuit. He looked so different. So small. So defeated. Veronica and Dr. Harrison sat next to him. All 3 of them were being tried together. All 3 of them were facing serious charges. The prosecutor asked me to tell the jury what happened that day. I took a deep breath and told them everything. I told them about the phone call. About running to the hospital. About the nurse who saved me. About hiding in the closet and hearing their plan. About pretending to be poisoned. About the recording that proved they were guilty. The jury listened carefully. Some of them looked shocked. Some of them looked angry. Some of them even cried. Marcus's lawyer tried to say I was lying. He tried to say I had made everything up because I was angry at my husband. He tried to say the recording was fake. But Kennedy testified too. She showed the recording to the jury. She explained exactly how she had switched the medicine. She told them about Mrs. Chen and the other suspicious deaths at the hospital. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury did not even take very long to decide. After just 4 hours they came back with their verdict. Guilty. On all counts. For all 3 of them. Marcus, Veronica, and Dr. Harrison were all sentenced to life in prison. They would never be free again. They would never hurt anyone else. When the judge read the sentence, Marcus looked at me across the courtroom. For a second I thought I saw regret in his eyes. But then he looked away and that moment was gone. I walked out of that courthouse feeling lighter than I had in months. It was finally over. Really over. I could move on with my life now. Kennedy was waiting for me outside. She had taken the day off work to be there for the verdict. When she saw me, she smiled so big. "We won," she said. "We actually won." "Yes," I agreed. "We did. We went to lunch together to celebrate. We talked about everything and nothing. We laughed. We cried a little bit too. And we made a promise to each other. We promised that we would always be friends. That we would always look out for each other. That we would never let anyone make us feel small or weak or helpless ever again. That was 5 years ago. 5 years since the worst day of my life that turned into the day I found my strength. 5 years since I discovered who I really was underneath all the fear and doubt. Today, I run a support group for women who have survived domestic violence and abuse. I help them find their strength too. I show them that they can survive. That they can fight back. That they can win. Kennedy still works at the hospital. She was promoted to head of patient safety. She makes sure that what happened with Dr. Harrison never happens again. She watches over everyone who comes through those doors. And me. I'm happy. Really truly happy. I got divorced, obviously. I sold the house Marcus and I shared and bought a small apartment just for me. I went back to school and got a degree in counseling. I even started dating again. Nothing serious yet. I'm taking my time. Learning to trust again. Learning to love again. But I am open to it. I am open to a new future. Sometimes people ask me if I regret anything. If I wish things had turned out differently. If I wish Marcus had been a better man. And I always say no. Because if Marcus had been different, I never would have discovered how strong I really am. I never would have learned that I can survive anything. I never would have found my purpose in helping other women. Marcus tried to kill me. He tried to take everything away from me. But instead he gave me something. He gave me my power back. He gave me my voice. He gave me my life. And I am never giving that away again. Never to anyone. So yes, I ran to the operating room that day. And yes, a nurse warned me it was a trap. And yes, when I saw my husband, I froze. But I did not stay frozen. Fought back. I won. And I am still here to tell my story. 'Cause I am not a victim. I am a survivor. I am strong. I am brave. And I am free. And that makes all the difference. Did you like the story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story with love and respect.